Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Mr. Ashu again. Today we are attacking number questions. So we got 42 questions to answer today. We are starting right now. Boom. So like the first question on the screen, like they're asking us like, you want to use an autobahn. To allow you do so, what specific maximum speed must be entered in part 1 of the registration certificate or in the operating license? What's correct? What's the correct answer for this question? You want to like use the autobahn, right? What type of like specific maximum speed must be entered in your operating license? Who can tell me the answer for this question? 60, of course. So like if your motor vehicle is designed with like a permissible maximum speed of less than 60 kilometers per hour, you are not allowed to use the autobahn. So autobahn is like it's in German. In English we call it like the highway or the motorway. So if your motor vehicle is designed with a permissible total speed of less than 60 kilometers per hour, you're not allowed to use what? The autobahn or the motorway. Okay. What is the permissible top speed generally in built-up areas? Remember, we have built-up areas and outside built-up area. In a built-up area, what is like what's supposed to be your top speed? What's supposed to be your top speed in a built-up area? 50, of course. This one is very, very important. For the practical exam is very important. Everybody take note. Remember, like you go for the exam, like you're driving in a built-up area. You need to respect the speed limit in that built-up area. Going above like speed limits can cause you to fail your exam. So at all time, like watch your speedometer to like be sure that like you're not exceeding what? The speed limit. In a built-up area, the maximum speed is 50 kilometers per hour. Take note. Okay. When driving outside of a built-up area, you want to overtake cyclists or pedestrians. What is the minimum space to the side that you must maintain? So like you're driving outside a built-up area. Remember, we have built-up area and outside built-up area. In this case, they're talking about outside built-up area. Now, you want to overtake what? A cyclist or a pedestrian. What is the minimum space you must keep to the side or you must maintain? So the answer here is 2 meters. Why? Because it is outside built-up area. This question is very, very confusing. You go for the exam, they ask you a question like this, but they talked about like built-up area, not outside built-up area. That would be a different answer. In this case, you are taking 2 meters because it is outside built-up area. So you might have a similar question like this on your exam day, but they are talking about built-up area. If it was built-up area, the correct answer would have been 1.5 meters. Now, because it is outside built-up area, your correct answer is 2 meters. Take note. Okay. Driving within a built-up area, you want to overtake a cyclist. What is the minimum space to the side that you must maintain? So we just thought like a similar question like this. The last one talked about like outside built-up area. This one they're talking about inside built-up area. And I hope I explained to you guys already that outside the built-up area will be 2 meters. Inside the built-up area is 1.5 meter. Always try to give me the answers before I review the answers. Try to help yourself practice. That's the purpose for this stream, to help everybody practice so you can be able to pass like a boss. To help yourself practice before I even give you the answers. Okay. What amount of side clearance must you maintain when you want to when overtaking pedestrians and cyclists? So this one should be like, the easiest question you will see today, because we talked about like the amount of side clearance we need to maintain in a built-up area and the amount of side clearance we need to maintain outside built-up area. So in this case now, like they are giving us they gave us 3 answers here. We need to like determine like which answers are correct. So what amount of side clearance must you maintain when overtaking pedestrians and cyclists? Now they're trying to trick you to see if you understand what you're doing. Look at it. Number 2 and number 3, they are very correct. Why? Number 2 talks about like you maintain what? a minimum safe clearance of 1.5 meter within a built-up area. While number 3, you maintain what? A minimum side clearance of 2 meters outside of a built-up area. So that's it. It's very, very clear to you now. Outside the built-up area, you want to overtake a pedestrian, a bicycle, electric scooter. You need to keep what? A minimum side clearance of at least 2 meters. Inside the built-up area, doing the same thing, you need to keep a minimum side clearance of at least 1.5 meter. Which means if you have seen that, okay, the space to the side is not like enough, what do? You avoid overtaking. You wait and overtake at a suitable place. Okay. What is the minimum distance you must leave clear when stopping or parking in front of a pedestrian crossing? So there is a pedestrian crossing in front of you. You want to like stop or park. What is the minimum distance you must leave clear if you want to stop or park? Five meters. And there's something I need to explain, you know. Remember, on the pedestrian crossing, we are not allowed to stop or park. Before the pedestrian crossing, if I want to stop or park, I need to keep at least 5 meters. Immediately behind the pedestrian crossing, I'm allowed to stop or park. To know the difference. On the pedestrian crossing, you are not allowed to stop or park. Before the pedestrian crossing, if you want to stop or park, you need to keep these 5 meters. Immediately after the pedestrian crossing, you're free to stop or park. So that's the difference. Okay. What is the minimum distance you must leave clear when parking outside of a built-up area before a St. Andrews cross? Questions like these, they are very, very tricky, you know, because we have similar questions where they'll talk about built-up area and outside built-up area. So knowing like the difference, what they talk about is very important. Always read the question to know like, are they talking about built-up area or outside built-up area? It can be so tricky. So in this case, they're talking about like outside the built-up area. You know, you wanting like to park before a St. Andrews cross. So the answer here is 50 meters. If you have a similar question like this, but they're talking about inside the built-up area, the answer will be 5 meters. So outside the built-up area is 50 meters. If you want to like park, you know, before it's an Andrews cross. But inside the built-up area, the answer will be 5 meters. So that's the difference. It's a very, very huge difference. It's a very huge difference. Please take note. Okay. You want to park in front of St. Andrews cross in a built-up area. What is the minimum distance you must leave clear? So we just saw it, right? We saw like this question. They talked about like outside built-up area. Now we are seeing a similar question talking about inside built-up area. And I hope explain already, no? I feel like you should like understand now. What's the answer for this question? Of course, correct answer is 5 meters. I made it very, very clear. In a built-up area, is 5 meters. Outside built-up area, 50 meters. It's very, very tricky. I'm sure like a lot of people like fall for this trick. But like you don't need to fall for it. Just know the difference. Built-up area, wanting to park before like it's an Andrews cross, 50 meters. Outside built-up area, 50 meters. Built-up area, 5 meters. Okay. Up to what distance is it prohibited to park before or after a bus or tram stop sign? So you see a bus or a tram stop sign, you want to like park. How much distance must you keep? Like, what's the minimum distance you must keep if you want to park or stop in front of a bus or tram stop sign? Listen, at the bus stop, we are not allowed to park there. We are allowed to stop. We can stop at the bus stop maximum 3 minutes, provided we are not causing an obstruction to the buses. But if you want to park there, you need to keep at least what? 15 meters. You want to park around the bus or tram stop sign, you need to keep at least 15 meters. Remember, at the bus stop itself, you're allowed to stop, but you're not allowed to park. If you want to park there, you're keeping at least 15 meters. So know the difference between parking and stopping. Anybody who stops like for no reason at a bus stop more than 3 minutes has automatically parked. So remember, at the bus stop, you're allowed to stop maximum 3 minutes, provided you're not causing an obstruction to the buses. Okay. What is the maximum length of time you're allowed to stop at a bus stop, provided you do not like present an obstruction to the buses? So I just answered this question already. Like I just answered it, you know. I did not even know we were going to see it. I just answered it. So now everybody should be passing it. What's the answer for this question? Of course, 3 minutes. So like you're allowed to stop at a bus stop maximum 3 minutes, provided you're not causing obstruction to the buses. So if you're standing there and like you feel like, hey, me standing here like I'm like obstructing the buses. Remember that space is created for the buses to be able to come in and go out. So if you're standing there and like you feel like, okay, you are causing an obstruction to the buses, what do? You leave that area. Okay? You're allowed to stop at the bus stop maximum 3 minutes, provided you are not like causing an obstruction to the buses. Remember, if you want to park, what happens? You're keeping at least 15 meters. We're not allowed to park at the bus stop. Okay. You are looking for somewhere to park on the right edge of the street. There is no cycle path to the right of your lane. How many meters before and after a junction are you not allowed to park? This particular question, you need to take note. There are two types, you know. What's the difference? This one, they're talking about like, there is no cycle path. You will see another one like this telling you like there is a cycle path. So if they mention like there is no cycle path, the correct answer is 5 meters. When there is a cycle path, so if you see a similar question like this, but they are talking about like there is a cycle path, your answer will be 8 meters. So take note, no cycle path, 5 meters. A cycle path, 8 meters. Okay. Let's keep double tapping and sharing, you know. Let's double tap and share. Let's go. You are looking for a place to park on the right edge of the carriageway. A cycle path runs along to the right of the carriageway. How many meters before a junction or an intersection are you prohibited from parking? So what's the difference between this question and the last one we saw? The only difference is, yeah, they talked about like there is a cycle path. The one we saw before, they said there is no cycle path. So when there is a cycle path, we keep what? 8 meters. The one we saw, they said there was no cycle path, so we kept what? 5 meters. Cycle path, when there is a cycle path, 8 meters. When you see a question like this, but there is no cycle path, 5 meters. Okay. What is the maximum distance a load may project backward beyond the rear reflectors without a projection marker being necessary? This one is very important, trust me. This question is linked to so many other questions. So if you understand it properly, you are going to have like no issues. So a load can project up to 1 meter to the rear. When they talk about to the rear, it means they're talking about to the back. A load can project up to 1 meter without a projection marker being necessary. If that load goes more than 1 meter, you need to like specially mark it. And even if you're specially marking it, the maximum it can go behind your car is 1.5 meter. In front of your vehicle, a load can go up to 2.5 meter. So know the difference. How far a load is allowed to go in front of my vehicle and how far a load is allowed to go behind my vehicle. Please. Okay. From what height is it permitted for loads to project up to 50 centimeters in front of your vehicle? So what's the answer for this question? I talked about it, you know. I didn't go straight to the point, but I talked about it. So what's the answer for this question? What's the answer for this question? The correct answer for this question is number 3, you know. 2.50 means like it's still the same thing as 2.5, you know. So sometimes they might ask you the question and they'll give you a box to type in the answer. You can just type 2.5 or 2.50. It means the same thing. So don't get confused. Okay? Under what emergency telephone number can you call the emergency service anywhere in Europe? So like you're driving anywhere in Europe and you got issues on the road. Which emergency telephone number can you call and you get help? Under which emergency telephone number can you call, like, you know, emergency service anywhere in Europe? So the 112. Okay? If you want to call police in Germany, it's the 110. But this one for all over Europe, you can call the 112 and they will send you help in your location. Okay? Good. Your vehicle loses oil. How much drinking water can be polluted by a single drop of oil? This one is so important, you know, because it talks about like environmental protection. Okay? So your vehicle loses oil. How much drinking water can be polluted by a single drop of oil? 600 liters. 600 liters. Listen, that is why like our waste oil, our used car batteries, and all those things, like, you know, we don't like just mix them up with our household waste. We take them to what? A recycling center or to a car workshop. Because if they are not like handled properly, or if they are not disposed of properly, they might cause what? Pollution. So a single drop of oil, when mishandled, will cause damage to up to 600 liters of drinking water. Imagine like if like you mishandle like half liter of oil or a whole liter of oil, how much damage is it going to cause to the environment? So you need to watch out, you know. So if you're here for the first time, my name is Mr. Ashu Theory, your German driver license theory helper. I'ma help you pass like a boss, you know. So in case you have not subscribed yet, we are streaming right now on YouTube. The video stays there. You can always like help yourself practice by going back to watch it. So make sure like you subscribe right now. So whenever I'm live, you're going to get automatic notification. Try to answer the questions in the chat, you know. Before I give the answers, always try to answer in the chat. Try to answer in the chat, you know. Okay. You're driving on a very narrow road and can see 50 meters ahead. What must be your maximum stopping distance? Remember, this question is so important because there are times where like you see questions like this, they will not talk about a narrow road, they will talk about like a wide road. So knowing the difference between a narrow road and a wide road is very important. In this case, they're talking about a narrow road. They're talking about a narrow road. You are driving on a very narrow road and can see 50 meters ahead. What must be your maximum stopping distance? On a narrow road, you should be able to like stop within what? Within half of the distance readily visible to you or readily available to you. So in this case, you're saying 50 meters. Half of 50 is 25 meters. I'm seeing some people are saying 40 meters. They are not asking us like, what is your stopping distance according to the rule of thumb? They are telling us like that we are traveling on a narrow road and we can see 50 meters ahead. What must be your maximum stopping distance? It is very, very different compared to like a question where they're asking you like, maybe like you're traveling at 50 kilometers per hour, you brake normally, what is the braking distance or what is the stopping distance? That is different. That is different. I did that topic, no, that topic, the video is there, you can go and watch it. I did the whole topic. This braking distance, stopping distance. You can check the video on my channel, you'll see it there. Okay. What is the maximum speed you're allowed to drive a car with trailer on roads outside of built-up areas? This one is very, very important. What is the maximum, like, you know, speed you're allowed to drive what? A car with trailer on roads outside built-up areas? This question, I think that there are 4 or 5 questions related to this question. That is why it's very important for you to understand the question properly. So the maximum speed you can drive a car and a trailer outside the built-up area is 80 kilometers per hour. Sometimes they will not talk about like outside built-up area. They will just say like on a motorway. So take note. The maximum speed you're allowed to drive a car and a trailer outside the built-up area is 80 kilometers per hour. That is why I need to understand that whenever like you have a trailer attached to your car, your acceleration capacity is automatically reduced. Okay. You're driving in foggy conditions on the motorway. Your visibility range is less than 50 meters. How fast are you allowed to drive? So you're on a motorway. Your visibility condition like is negatively affected by foggy conditions. Remember, this is a motorway, like a high-speed road. You're on a motorway and your visibility is negatively affected by fog. So how fast are you supposed to drive? 50 kilometers per hour. That should be your maximum speed. So in this case, when your visibility is reduced to less than 50 meters, you are allowed to like switch on your rear fog lamps. When your rear fog lights are on, your maximum speed becomes 50 kilometers per hour. You cannot be having like the rear fog lamps on and you're driving more than 50 kilometers per hour. That is what you need to understand. When your rear fog lamps are on, your maximum speed is 50 kilometers per hour. It's not supposed to go above that. And you're only allowed to have those lights on when your visibility is reduced to less than 50 meters. You have a question where they'll ask you like, when are you supposed like to switch on your rear fog lamps? That is when your visibility is reduced to less than 50 meters. I'm taking my time to break these things down because I might not do this topic again. So take advantage and grab everything as much as you can. Try to practice in the chat, Get me the answers in the chat. Before I give you the answers, make sure that you give me the answers in the chat, Good. Now let's watch the video. Let's go. So there was not really much to see here, In this particular video, there was not really much to see. Looking at, I just want you to see something here. They're asking us like, what is the maximum speed you're allowed to drive after turning? So you turn now, what do you see here? We see houses, which means what? We are in a built-up area. So you just need to ask yourself like, in a built-up area, what is supposed to be my maximum speed? In a built-up area, I'm allowed to drive with maximum speed of 50. Okay? Looking at the picture here, there are no signs like showing me speed limit, But I can see that there are houses around me, which means I am in a built-up area. And in a built-up area like this, my maximum speed should not be more than 50. Okay. What is the maximum speed a motor vehicle fitted with snow chains is allowed to travel? This one is very important because there are like one or two questions related to it, So if you understand it properly, you're going to answer the other questions properly too. So what is the maximum speed a motor vehicle fitted with snow chains is allowed to travel? 50 kilometers per hour. Sometimes they will show you the snow chain. They will show you like what the snow chain looks like without mentioning it, They'll show you the snow chain without mentioning it, and they'll ask you like, what do you need to do there? So whenever you see a sign with a snow chain, it means what? On how to go to, you need to like have snow chains, and whenever like you have the snow chains on, your maximum speed becomes what? 50 kilometers per hour. You are not allowed to drive more than 50 kilometers per hour when using what? Snow chain tires. Okay. What is the maximum speed you're allowed to drive a car on roads with one marked lane for each direction outside built-up areas? So listen, roads like this with one marked lane for each direction outside built-up areas, we call them what? The federal road, or in German we call them the Bundesstraße. So on roads like this, without any trailer, just your car, you're permitted to drive what? 100 kilometers per hour. But on roads like this, if you have a trailer attached to your car, you're only allowed to travel what? 80 kilometers per hour. So on a road like this with one marked lane for each direction outside the built-up area, those roads are called Bundesstraße, or maybe like federal roads, In English we say federal road, in German we say Bundesstraße. On such roads, we are only allowed to drive maximum 100 kilometers per hour. Okay. You're driving a combination vehicle. This consists of a motor vehicle with up to 3.5 ton maximum motorized mass and a trailer without a 100 kilometers per hour approval. What is the maximum speed you can travel on the motorway? Remember what we talked about. What is the maximum speed you're allowed to drive a car and a trailer combination outside the built-up area? Do you still remember? 80. So they are trying to trick you here. All this grammar here is not really necessary. Just have it in your head that the maximum speed you're allowed to drive a car and a trailer outside the built-up area is 80 kilometers per hour. If you understand that one, you're good to go. Okay. You're driving a vehicle combination. It consists of a motor vehicle with a permissible maximum mass of up to 3.5 tons and a trailer that is authorized for a speed of up to 100 kilometers per hour. What is the maximum speed on a federal highway, not an expressway? So the federal highway is what we call the Bundesstraße, Okay? So the federal highway, the maximum speed you can is outside built-up area, of course. The maximum you can drive a car and a trailer is 80. So look at it like They're talking about the same thing, but making it like to be like more confusing to trick you. So no matter what they do, don't fall for that trick, you know. The maximum speed you're allowed to travel with a car and a trailer combination outside the built-up area is 80 kilometers per hour. Understanding that correctly is going to like help you a lot, you know. Okay. What is the minimum safety distance you should like maintain from the vehicle ahead when driving of a speed of 100 kilometers per hour? This one is very, very important because like the safety distance is the distance you keep between you and the vehicle traveling in front of you. And the minimum safety distance should be like half of your speedometer readings in meters. So in this case, my speedometer reading is 100 kilometers per hour. So what is half of 100? Is 50. So in meters, I need to keep at least 50 meters if I'm traveling with a speed of 100 kilometers per hour behind somebody. Don't forget, the distance you keep between you and the person traveling in front of you is called the safety distance. That's what you need to understand. Okay. When must a car with trailer driving outside built-up areas on roads with only one lane for each direction keep a sufficient distance from the car in front so that an overtaking vehicle may pull in? When must a car with trailer driving outside built-up areas on roads with only one lane for each direction keep a sufficient distance from the car in front so that an overtaking vehicle may pull in? When the combination of vehicles exceeds 7 meters. People really get confused here, you know, because there is a particular question where they'll ask us like, what should be your maximum length of car and trailer combination? Your maximum length of car and trailer combination should be 18 meters. Now, in this case, they're talking about like, from what length of motor vehicle are you supposed to keep enough space in front of you so if somebody overtakes you, they are going to be able to pull in. So there is a difference between that question and this one. A lot of people get confused. There is no need to get confused. Are you feeling me? Okay, watch out. Okay. I hope after this class, you know, after this stream, like you go like get to know what to do, you know. Whenever like you come across questions like this, you're gonna be able to answer them like a boss, you know. You know the vibe, you know. You will pass like bosses. In case you're here for the first time, make sure like you subscribe right now, you know. So whenever I'm live, you're gonna get automatic notifications. I don't stream every day, but whenever I'm free, I'm gonna stream, share love to my people, help you as best as I can. So stay locked in. Try to support the stream as much as you can, you know. Support the stream as much as you can. Let's keep sharing, you know. Let's keep liking and sharing. Let's go. From what length of vehicle combination must you keep a sufficient distance from the vehicle in front outside the built-up area to allow an overtaking vehicle to pull in? It's like the same thing, you know. The same thing, 7 meters, like the one we just saw. The same thing. Similar question, like just trying like trick you, changing some things, you know. It's gonna be so difficult for you to have like these two questions in the exam. They will either bring one of it, you know. They'll bring one of it to confuse you. So don't fall for it. As we go ahead, we might see like so many other questions that like you did not understand before. But after this stream for today, you're gonna understand it properly. Like I said, like this stream right now stays on YouTube the whole time. I'm gonna like let it stay on YouTube. Because right now I'm streaming on both platforms. It's gonna like stay on YouTube. You can always go back and watch it. Like I'm doing like those important topics and keeping the videos on YouTube, you know. You can like always go back and watch it. Check out my bio. You're gonna like see my link to get to my channel. And I'm streaming right now. Like I'm live there, you know. You can check it and see. Go subscribe, you know. Go subscribe and turn on your notification. Check out my bio right now. Click, go subscribe and turn on your notifications, you know. So whenever like I'm streaming, like you're gonna get automatic notification. You're driving at 100 kilometers per hour on a road not inside the built-up area. In front of you, a truck is traveling at 70 kilometers per hour. What is the minimum distance you must be from a crest in the road when commencing an overtaking maneuver? 800. questions like these, they are very easy, you know, because like it's very, very difficult to see other questions that are competing with it, you know. So whenever you see like it's easy to recognize the answer. Okay. Which motor vehicles may freely choose their lanes inside built-up areas? All vehicles with a permissible total mass of up to, who can tell me? So which vehicles are free to choose their lanes, like, you know, inside built-up areas? Vehicles with a permissible total mass of 3.5 ton. Pass V iron boss. Of course, bro. Pass like a boss, innit? Listen. People get too confused this question. We have a similar question where they'll ask us like, when are you allowed to park in a designated footpath? For you to be able to park in a footpath, you have to like have what? A permissible total mass of maximum 2.8 ton. So if you come across the question where they're asking like, when are you allowed to park on a designated footpath? On a footpath, you need to have like a permissible total mass of maximum 2.8 ton. But like for you to be free to choose which lane you want to drive on in your driving direction in a built-up area, the answer is 3.5 ton. So like you need to have what? A permissible total mass of up to 3.5 ton. So know the difference between this question and the other one. Yeah. Up to which permissible total mass may motor vehicles be parked on specially designated footpath? So I just talked about it, you know. I just talked about it. And right now, we are having a question like, you know, asking us about that same thing. So you see, I talk about something before we actually get to it, you know, to make the work easy for you. You understand? So like now, what's the answer for this question? What's the answer for this question? I just said it, you know, 2.8 ton. So like you need to like know the difference between this question and the last one we just saw, you know. So for you to be able to park on the footpath, you need to have like a permissible total mass of maximum 2.8 ton. But for you to be free to choose which lane you want to drive on in the built-up area in your driving direction is 3.5 ton. So know the difference between these two questions. Don't fall for that trick, you know. I'm going to cover the whole topic today, you know. Like this topic with number questions, I think like there are 42 questions. I'm going to make sure I cover the whole topic today. And the video stays on YouTube, you know. So whenever like you have issues with number questions, you can go and watch it and like, you know, get used to it. Okay? I'm doing that for you guys because we family, you know. So hope like support your boy, innit? Because I'm doing it for you guys, you know. Let's get it. Support the stream in the chat, you know. Let's support the stream, innit? So in case you're here for the first time, my name is Mr. Ashu, your German driver license theory helper. Today we are doing number questions. Trying to break it down to like the simplest form so you can understand it properly. So make sure like you subscribe right now in case you have not subscribed yet. Alright. Let's go. What is the minimum distance a vehicle must leave clear in front of a traffic light if the traffic light would be concealed by the vehicle? So it's 10 meters, you know. So the traffic light needs to be clear. So like people coming from behind, they can be able to see when it is red and when it is green, you know. So if you know your car is going to be blocking it, what do? You keep at least 10 meters before the traffic light to ensure you are not concealing the traffic light. Okay. You want to park on the right edge of the carriageway. How big is the mandatory minimum distance between your vehicle and the solid lane boundary? So what's the answer to this question? Let's get it. Give me the answer. Let's go in it. What's the answer to this question? Three meters, correct. You guys are good, you know. I can see your answers in the chat, you know. You guys are actually good. Just keep it up, you know. Let's go. What is the recommended speed that applies to cars and cycles on autobahns? This question is very tricky. This question is very tricky. Remember, like there was a question we saw. They asked us about like if you want to use the autobahn, like when are you allowed to? So people get to confuse that question and this one. There is a very, very big difference between like recommended speed and permitted speed. So the correct answer is 130. Listen, I use a product. I liked it, right? And you have the same problem as me. I recommend that product to you. It is not like a must that you must use that product. So that's the difference between like recommended speed and permitted speed. In a built-up area, we are not allowed to drive more than 50, which means that is what? That is a permitted speed. In a built-up area, you're not allowed to drive what? More than 50. That is the permitted speed, like which you are only permitted to drive maximum 50. But in this case, I'm talking about like the recommended speed. Remember, we are in Germany, where like most parts of the highway, we can drive with unlimited speed. But even though they know that we are allowed to drive with unlimited speed, they are recommending to us that we drive with a speed of 130. Because if everybody drives at 130, it reduces what? The severity of accidents and maybe like prevent like some accidents from occurring. It creates like an even flow of traffic. Or it reduces the seriousness of accidents in like unavoidable situations. Okay. At which impact speed must you reckon with serious or deadly injuries when no safety belt is worn? At which impact speed must you reckon with serious or deadly injuries when no safety belt is worn? This question is a technical question, and they really want you to understand it properly. And I'll tell you how. The correct answer is number 3, which is 30. That's to like let you understand that no matter how slow you are driving, you need to like have your safety belt on. That belt is there like for safety. It's there to enhance what? The safety of the occupant. It's not there like for style or for fun. It's there for safety purpose. So as low as 30 kilometers per hour, if you have no seat belts on and like you have an accident, it can lead to like serious injuries or deadly accident. Take note. Good. What is the maximum height allowed above the road for a red light marking a load extending to the back? I talked about it before. Maybe some of you must have forgotten. We talked about like the maximum a load is allowed to go in front and behind your car. And I'm talking about to the back now. So what is the maximum height allowed above the road for a red light marking a load extending to the back? 1.5 meter. So a load can go behind your car 1 meter without like you specially marking it. But once it goes like above 1 meter, which it can only go maximum 1.5, only when you're specially marking it. And how do you mark it? With a red light. I see. Good. Up to what height is a load not allowed to project over the front of the vehicle? Don't forget, we saw this question before. The only difference now is the one we saw before, they gave us like answers to choose from. Now they are giving us a space to type in the answer to see if we really know what we are doing. Are you feeling me? So like I talked about it, that the load is allowed to go in front of your car maximum 2.5 meter. That's it. You see, like these questions, like remember we have so many topics on this app. On the exam day, the screen needs to be adjusted properly. What don't you see? Mr. Complain, what don't you see? Listen. On the exam day, you are not like gonna like get all questions from one topic. We have so many questions from different topics. So each topic have its maximum number of questions I'm picking from. That's why like my system of learning is like strictly exam preparation. Strictly exam preparation. Okay. How far may a labeled load project beyond the rear of your vehicle if your journey is more than 100 kilometers per hour? How far may a labeled load proceed beyond the rear of your vehicle if your journey is more than... So if you look at this part, like talking about like your journey being more than 100 kilometers per hour, they are just trying to trick you. A labeled load is allowed to go up to 1.5 meter. Whether your journey is 5 meters, whether it's 2 meters, it doesn't really matter. So that additional like line talking about like your journey being blah 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 more than 100 kilometers, they are trying to trick you. Doesn't really matter how far your journey is. A load can only go behind your car maximum 1.5 meter. That is like if you're specially marking it. It can go up to 1 meter without like you specially marking it. As it goes above that, going like maximum 1.5, you need to like specially mark it. Okay. You have purchased a 3-year-old car for your own personal use. The vehicle roadworthiness test certificate is new. What is the time limit until the next roadworthiness test must be performed? What is the time limit until the next roadworthiness test must be performed? So 24 months, that's the correct answer, you know? Correct. What number of trailers may be towed behind a car? So you have a car now. How many trailers are you allowed to tow at once? Like, you know, at a time. What number of trailers may be towed behind a car at a time, you know? 1 trailer, okay? So 1 car, 1 trailer. Questions like this, if they come in your exam, you should be passing and while smiling, you know? You should be passing and while smiling. Nobody should be failing questions like this. You hold a Class B driving license. What trailer are you allowed to tow? So you're having what? This is your license that you're currently doing, a Class B license, right? So what, like, which trailers are you allowed to like tow behind your car? What trailers are you allowed to tow? Trailers up to 750 kilogram or trailers over 750 kilogram if the maximum authorized mass of the vehicle combination does not exceed what? 3,500 kilograms. So 2 and 3 are perfect answers. Take note. A single axle trailer has an actual gross weight of 600 kilograms. What is the minimum possible vertical load? The minimum possible vertical load. What's correct? Let's go, chat. Give me the answers in the chat, you know. Let's get it. Correct. You guys are actually doing a great job, you know. What is the maximum permitted length of a car and trailer vehicle combination without a protruding load? I talked about it before. I talked about it like that. You should be aware that we might come across a question like this. And people like get to confuse this question with the other one we saw. I can see people telling me 7 meters. That is very wrong. That's why you get confused with the other one. There is a similar question like this where they'll talk about like, from what motor vehicle length should you like keep a sufficient space in front of you for overtaking vehicles to be able to pull in? That one will be 7 meters. But in this case, they are talking about like their maximum permitted length for a car and a trailer vehicle combination. So it's 18 meters. 18 meters. So know the difference between these two questions. I don't really get confused, you know. Know the difference between the questions. Don't really get confused. Okay? I don't know if you're following up. I hope you're doing that. Make sure you follow up, you know. Make sure that we are not wasting our time here. So that was the last question for this topic, you know. The topic was very, very short. 42 questions. We covered it all, you know, in the space of like 45 minutes. I think I was a little bit fast. But now, I'm going to like be taking tests. Okay? So watch out. The video stays here. You can always watch until you understand. Okay? Now we are going to be taking tests. Are you feeling me? Or we should take another topic? Should we take another topic? So like, make sure like you subscribe, you know, and turn on your notification buttons. Like whenever I'm live, you're gonna get automatic notification. Okay? So make sure like you subscribe so you don't get to miss my next stream. So interessant. Oh, das ist schön.